My name is Daniel Cross, and I used to believe that family always wanted the best for you, until mine tried to destroy me. I was the quiet one in a family full of loud, proud business minds. My parents owned a mid-sized manufacturing company, and from a young age, I was expected to join and eventually carry on the legacy. But I wasn't interested in managing people. I loved building things. I spent most of my teenage years in the garage, surrounded by wires, gears, and half-finished prototypes. By the time I was 24, I had created a new energy-efficient motor design that could reduce production costs by nearly 40%. It wasn't flashy, but it worked, and I knew it could change everything. I showed it to my parents, hoping they'd be proud. Instead, they saw dollar signs and control. My father, especially, hated that I had developed it under my own name. "This belongs to the company," he said flatly. "You're part of the family. That means everything you make is ours." I refused. I told him I'd rather start my own venture. That's when things turned ugly. They called me ungrateful, naive, and foolish. A week later, I found out they'd transferred my shares in the family company to my brother, and demanded I sign over my invention to them for legal clarity. My mother said softly, "It's symbolic, Daniel. We'll give you $1 to make it official. You'll always be part of the family business." I was stunned. They wanted to strip me of everything I'd built, for a single $1. But I signed. Not because I was weak, but because I had already read the fine print better than they had. I transferred the prototype and the design, but not the patents. The intellectual property was registered separately, under my name, as an independent entity. It was a legal detail they never bothered to check. They owned the physical machine, but not the idea behind it. And ideas, as I soon learned, are worth far more. For months, they paraded around saying they'd taught me a lesson. My brother even bragged at family dinners about Dad's new motor project, acting like I was some failed genius. I let them. I moved out quietly, took a low-paying job at a startup, and kept improving the design in secret. Within a year, I'd optimized it further, smaller, cheaper, and more powerful. Then one afternoon, a major renewable energy firm reached out after seeing my prototype video online. They wanted to license the patent for large-scale manufacturing. When the deal went through, the upfront payment alone was 7 figures. Suddenly, my $1 invention had become worth millions. I founded my own company, Cross Dynamics, and within months, we were in headlines for revolutionizing industrial energy systems. My phone exploded with messages: investors, partners, journalists, and eventually, my family. My father called first. "Daniel," he said stiffly, "we need to talk. There seems to be some confusion. That patent you sold us, you mean the prototype?" I interrupted calmly. "Yeah, you have that. But the patent, that's mine." Silence. Then he snapped, "That's not possible." I smiled. "It is. You never owned the intellectual property. You just bought a machine, for $1. He went quiet again, realizing the trap he'd set for me was the one he'd fallen into. A week later, I was invited to a corporate event, one my parents and brother would also attend. They arrived dressed to impress, trying to pretend nothing had happened. But as they walked into the conference hall, their eyes widened at the large banner across the stage. Cross Dynamics, in partnership with Vertex Energy. My father looked like he'd seen a ghost. I walked over, smiled politely, and said, "You remember that little invention? Turns out it worked." My brother stammered something about misunderstandings, and my mother looked down, unable to meet my eyes. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. The results spoke for themselves. I gave them a polite nod and walked away, leaving them surrounded by executives who now treated me as the head of the room. That night, as I stood on the balcony overlooking the city, I realized revenge didn't have to be loud or cruel. It could be quiet, clever, and deeply satisfying. They'd thought they ruined me by making me sell for $1, but in the end, I kept the patents, the power, and most importantly, my self-respect.